Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, he could. I mean, no. This is not a good thing. He can go. What this means is he could do anything.
What happens when Joe Rogan, one of the most outspoken voices in media, takes aim at Whoopi Goldberg and The View? Buckle up because things get intense. Recently, Rogan delivered a fiery critique of Whoopi's jaw-dropping comments about presidential power and political arrests, and the internet hasn't stopped buzzing since. Could this be the moment that cracks the facade of one of television's most controversial shows? In today's video, we're diving deep into Rogan's viral takedown, what he said, why it matters, and how Whoopi and The View are scrambling to handle the fallout. We'll explore the outrageous statements that triggered Rogan's wrath, how audiences are reacting, and what this means for the future of media discourse. Plus, we'll uncover the broader implications of this clash and how it exposes the ideological battle lines being drawn across America. If you think you've seen The View face criticism before, think again. This is on another level. Stay tuned as we unpack the drama, reveal the surprising connections, and break down why this moment could signal a turning point in how we view the mainstream media. By the end, you'll see why Whoopi Goldberg is making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Whoopi Goldberg's, like, did you see what she did to that Staten Island bakery?
Yeah.
No.
Crazy.
What?
So Staten Island Bakery, their boiler went down, and she placed an order of cupcakes for her birthday. And they couldn't do the order.
Hold on. I can't imagine yet how this would go bad. Okay, go ahead.
So she places this order. They say, we can't promise you that we can do this because our boiler is down. So we can't fulfill this order. And so then the next day, the boiler is back up. She has someone else call the same bakery, and they get the order in because now the boiler's up. She claims the reason why they didn't take her order is because they didn't like her politics. And so she says this on The View. So then the bakery has a press conference where they say, we've been in business for 150 years. This is not what happened at all. We don't discriminate against anybody regardless of anything. We just had a problem with our boiler. And she's singling out a family-run business. And then there's a line around the block for the bakery.
Nice.
Joe Rogan's viral criticism of Whoopi Goldberg and The View. Joe Rogan, known for his unfiltered takes, recently set the internet ablaze with a fiery critique of Whoopi Goldberg and The View. The moment stemmed from Goldberg's hypothetical comments suggesting President Biden could potentially jail Republicans, a statement Rogan called not only extreme, but also detached from reality. Rogan didn't hold back, labeling her argument as baseless fear-mongering and accusing The View of perpetuating dangerous rhetoric. Listeners resonated with Rogan's critique, sharing clips across social media platforms. Many viewers expressed frustration with The View's increasingly polarizing tone, finding solace in Rogan's blunt analysis. Rogan's ability to articulate the frustrations of many Americans disillusioned with mainstream media turned this moment into a viral sensation. The backlash was swift and heated. Supporters of Goldberg defended her as merely engaging in hypothetical discourse, but Rogan's audience saw it differently. To them, his dismantling of Goldberg's statements highlighted a growing divide between everyday citizens and media personalities who seem out of touch.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said? Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail.
Let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything. You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president? Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television. The fact that she says that so confidently, if you're willing to let Donald Trump use presidential immunity, that means Joe Biden could just go crazy and arrest all the Republicans because that's what that means. No, that's not what that means, even a little bit. Like,
no,
you just added a whole bunch of stuff to what that means.
Context of Whoopi's comments. The controversy began with Whoopi Goldberg's on-air remarks discussing presidential immunity and hypothetical arrests of political adversaries. While Goldberg's comments were framed as conjecture, they raised eyebrows for their tone, which implied that wielding presidential power against opposition might be acceptable. Her remarks sparked a heated debate about the limits of executive authority. Goldberg's argument misrepresented the constitutional powers of the presidency, sparking concern among critics. By suggesting that Biden could act unilaterally to prosecute Republicans, Goldberg seemed to blur the lines between democratic principles and authoritarian impulses. Her audience's enthusiastic applause only amplified the controversy, leaving critics to question whether such sentiments reflected the views of a broader segment of the public. Rogan's response framed Goldberg's statements as part of a larger trend in media to provoke sensationalism over substance. He argued that such rhetoric not only misinforms, but also contributes to the polarization tearing society apart.
So, Barbara was her usual polite self, as she was with every guest. But did I look warm and fuzzy? Was it a warm and fuzzy welcome from her? But because I respect Barbara, you know, she said be polite to guests no matter what.
Yes.
And for the most part, I got through. I did it like I do now.
Joe Rogan's shift from liberal to critic of wokeness. Once a self-described liberal, Joe Rogan's journey into becoming a critic of modern progressive ideologies is a fascinating evolution. His early advocacy for issues like cannabis legalization and healthcare reform positioned him firmly on the left. However, over time, Rogan grew disillusioned with the more radical elements of progressive politics, particularly cancel culture and ideological rigidity. Key moments, such as the backlash Rogan faced over hosting controversial figures, catalyzed his shift. He found himself increasingly at odds with what he saw as the left's unwillingness to engage in open dialogue. Figures like Russell Brand have mirrored this transformation, embracing similar critiques of wokeness while maintaining a commitment to core progressive principles. Rogan's stance has resonated with millions who feel alienated by the extremes of political discourse. By calling out inconsistencies and advocating for free thought, Rogan has carved out a unique space as a cultural commentator, unafraid to challenge both sides of the aisle.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, the episode of you when you were on The View. You got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. They were all talking about how you're you might be conservative in your financial positions, but you're very liberal socially. They were talking about you in such a favorable light. The audience was cheering, and then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you. But there's probably no one in history that I've ever seen that's been attacked the way you've been attacked, and the way they've done it so coordinated and systematically. And when you see those same people in the past, very favorable to you, like Oprah, when you were on Oprah's show,
very.
she was encouraging you.
Rogan's take on The View. Rogan's critique of The View goes beyond Whoopi Goldberg's comments, extending to the show's broader role as an ideological echo chamber. He's accused the hosts of parroting partisan talking points without engaging in meaningful debate. To Rogan, The View epitomizes the dangers of media platforms that prioritize sensationalism over nuanced discussion. He has highlighted several moments where the hosts' statements contradicted their own arguments or dismissed opposing views outright. Rogan sees these instances as symptomatic of a larger problem, a lack of intellectual honesty in mainstream media. Shows like The View, he argues, contribute to societal polarization by fostering an us versus them mentality. Rogan's criticisms have sparked discussions about the responsibility of influential platforms to provide balanced perspectives. He believes that by failing to do so, The View and similar shows perpetuate division and hinder meaningful progress. The Christopher Rufo episode, Analysis and Commentary. Rogan's conversation with Christopher Rufo, a leading activist against wokeness, offered a deep dive into issues of democracy and authoritarian trends. Rufo, known for exposing ideological overreach in institutions, shared insights that resonated with Rogan's critiques of Hollywood and the media. The discussion touched on the dangers of bureaucratic power and how it can be used to suppress dissent. Rogan and Rufo connected these themes to The View and Whoopi Goldberg's comments, arguing that such rhetoric feeds into a culture of compliance rather than critical thought. This episode underscored the importance of voices like Rogan and Rufo in challenging mainstream narratives. Their conversation provided a framework for understanding the broader implications of media influence on public discourse and democracy. Political hypocrisy in the media. Rogan has frequently called out the double standards in how political events are portrayed by the media. He's highlighted discrepancies in the treatment of the January 6th protests versus other political demonstrations, accusing outlets like The View of bias. In Goldberg's case, Rogan criticized her framing of presidential immunity as a tool for political persecution. He argued that such narratives overlook the complexities of justice and power, reducing them to partisan talking points. To Rogan, this kind of rhetoric is not just misleading, it's dangerous. By exposing these hypocrisies, Rogan aims to encourage his audience to question the motives behind media narratives. He believes that fostering skepticism is essential for a healthy democracy. Whoopi's role in shaping public perception. Whoopi Goldberg's evolution from beloved actress to polarizing political commentator has had a profound impact on public discourse. Her platform on The View allows her to influence millions of viewers, but it also comes with significant responsibility. Goldberg's comments often spark heated debates, with critics accusing her of using her position to push divisive narratives. Her remarks about presidential powers exemplify this tension, as they highlight the potential consequences of platforming controversial opinions without sufficient context. The broader implications of Goldberg's role are significant. As a public figure, her words shape perceptions and contribute to the cultural conversation. Whether that influence is constructive or harmful depends on how she navigates the line between commentary and advocacy. Rogan's perspective on liberal media bias. Rogan has consistently criticized what he sees as liberal media bias, using The View as a prime example. He argues that shows like Goldberg's prioritize ideological conformity over genuine dialogue, leaving little room for dissenting opinions. Rogan contrasts this with his own approach, which emphasizes open discussions with a wide range of guests. By fostering diverse conversations, Rogan challenges the notion that any single narrative should dominate public discourse. Societal trends, parenting, politics, and ideological shifts. Joe Rogan has frequently discussed the profound influence of life experiences, particularly parenthood, on shaping political beliefs and ideological leanings. He argues that becoming a parent often prompts individuals to adopt more conservative views, as the responsibility of raising children encourages a focus on stability, long-term planning, and safeguarding the future. Parents, Rogan notes, are naturally driven to prioritize issues that affect the safety, education, and overall well-being of their families, which often aligns with conservative principles such as law and order, economic stability, and personal responsibility. This tendency to lean conservatively as a parent, Rogan suggests, reflects an instinctive desire to build and maintain a world where their children can thrive. In contrast, Rogan has observed that individuals without children may be more inclined toward progressive ideologies, often driven by different life priorities. Without the immediate concerns tied to parenting, childless individuals may focus more on social justice, systemic reform, environmental sustainability, and policies that challenge traditional power structures. Rogan suggests that this dynamic is neither inherently good nor bad, but highlights how personal circumstances and life stages influence the way people perceive societal needs and the role of government. For example, progressive policies on wealth redistribution or climate action may resonate more with those unencumbered by the specific challenges of raising children. The future of independent commentary. Joe Rogan's rise as a counterbalance to mainstream media highlights the growing demand for independent voices. His platform, which reaches millions, has become a powerful tool for challenging established narratives and fostering open dialogue. As traditional media outlets face declining trust, independent commentators like Rogan are poised to play an increasingly significant role in shaping public discourse. Their ability to engage diverse audiences and explore complex topics positions them as valuable contributors contributors to the cultural conversation. Looking ahead, Rogan's influence is likely to grow as more people seek alternatives to the ideological echo chambers of mainstream media. His commitment to intellectual honesty and balanced discussion sets a standard for the future of commentary. What a wild ride! From Joe Rogan's explosive critique to Whoopi Goldberg's controversial comments, today's story has given us plenty to think about. It's clear that the media landscape is shifting, and moments like this highlight the need for more accountability and balanced dialogue. So what's your take? Was Rogan spot on, or do you think he went too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us bring you more of the stories that matter. And hey, if you've got a friend who loves unpacking media drama, share this video with them too. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more insightful, hard-hitting content. Until next time, take care and keep questioning everything.